I had a whirlwind marriage with the aloof heartthrob from back in school. On our wedding night, I wrapped my arms around his waist, and he said he was tired. The next day, I switched to some skimpy nightwear, and he told me to get some sleep early. I couldn't take it anymore and was ready to make the first move, but he locked himself in the guest room and reminded me, "Nancy, calm down. You can't force love." I wasn't calming down at all. I don't care how sweet it is, I just needed to quench my thirst. On the third day, he ran away. Later, furious, I tossed a divorce agreement his way, and he picked me up single-handedly, tossing me onto the bed. Trembling, I reminded him, "Alex, you can't force love." He chuckled softly, "You won't know if it's sweet until you try it." I rushed into a marriage. My husband was the aloof heartthrob back then, now known in our circle as the aloof and powerful CEO. On our wedding night, I managed to wash up and lay in bed. I could faintly hear the water running in the bathroom. Just the thought of what was coming made my cheeks heat up. 10 minutes later, I felt the bed dip beside me, the minty scent of his body wash mixing gently with his skin's smell. My face turned red as I snaked a hand around Alex's waist from behind, snuggling up. I called out in a flirty tone, "Hubby." Alex paused slightly, then turned and enveloped me in his arms, planting a soft kiss on my forehead. "I'm really tired, let's sleep." "Sleep?" I was a bit taken aback. "You're tired?" I couldn't help but ask. He smirked and shot back, "Aren't you tired?" He added, "But if you want to do something else, I think I can hang in there." He held me a little tighter, making us lie even closer. "Let's just sleep," Alex's voice sounded a bit hoarse. I sighed internally, all right, maybe he's too tired to perform well. I comforted myself, good things come to those who wait. Plus, after the whole wedding day, I was pretty exhausted too. With his warm breath by my ear, I nestled in his arms, blushing, and quickly fell asleep. When I woke up the next morning, the bed was already empty. Stretching lazily, my phone buzzed with a call from my best friend, her loud voice coming through the speaker, "Nancy, spill the tea about your wedding night. How did it go?" I instinctively clutched the phone to prevent any revealing talks. "Nothing, just slept." "Not even a kiss," I whispered. "Tired? Too tired on the wedding night? Really?" My friend was in disbelief. "Did you wear the sexy nightwear I gave you?" "No," I replied. She had gifted me 2 revealing nightgowns. One was a black strappy gown, and the other a pure white schoolgirl outfit. They were designed so cleverly you'd feel shy just looking at them. "Tonight, you wear that and get him. With your little figure, who wouldn't be dazzled?" "Which one should I wear?" I whispered. "The black one. Men love sexy stuff." My friend's loud voice boomed again. "Nancy." A deep voice snapped me back to reality. I panicked. When did Alex show up at the door? I quickly hung up. "Do you need something?" I asked. He gave me a knowing look, "Get up and eat." On the dining table was the breakfast he had left for me. I focused on eating while he fixed his tie beside me. Checking his watch, he said, "I'm heading to the office now." "Okay," I nodded, suddenly remembering something and cooed, "Hubby, get home early. We've got important business later." He gently ruffled my hair, unusually soft in expression. "All right." Alex and I got married for business reasons, no emotional bond. We were classmates in school, but he was the untouchable brainiac, and I was the disregarded heiress. The closest we got was on the report card. He was perpetually first, and I was forever second. Originally, he was supposed to marry my stepsister. But Lily went too wild before the wedding, and the news reached Alex's family. They had a reputation to keep and wouldn't marry her, but the union was already set between the families, so I, being the eldest daughter, was the next choice. In our home, I was never favored, especially with step-siblings around. If I hadn't worked hard all these years, I might have been kicked out long ago. My father, getting older, wanted to delegate responsibilities. Despite my efforts, he still favored his inept son. To be honest, this marriage was the biggest advantage I could get. At the wedding, both families hinted we should start having kids soon, and Alex's grandpa even promised $1 billion for the first grandchild, boy or girl. I needed this child to stabilize my position. Sounds ridiculous, but in this circle, marriage and children are bargaining tools and a sign of strength. It's all about interests. I sighed and got ready for the night's battle. I slyly tried on that black nightgown, admiring the reflection in the mirror. Wow, the designer's a genius. That night, the moon was bright, and only a dim lamp was on in the bedroom. Stepping forward, I sneaked my hands around Alex's waist. Wow, felt nice. He glanced at my attire, and his gaze darkened. Hubby, it's my ovulation period. Let's try for a baby, okay? I looped my arms around his neck, pressing my lips to his. He hesitated for a moment, then took charge, deepening the kiss. I had to admit, this little gown was magic. Breathing quickened, heart raced, just as things were about to escalate. He pulled away, covering me with the blanket. Get some sleep. That's it? Is he trying to be chaste? Kissing won't make me pregnant, dude. Looking at the blanket, I was confused. Maybe he doesn't like sexy, maybe he likes innocent. Give me a minute. I quickly switched to the other outfit. Straddling him, my hands went everywhere. With raised eyebrows and a seductive voice, I teased, brother, like this one? For a second, Alex's eyes were ablaze. He swiftly pinned me, warning, Nancy, stop it. The vibe was totally shattered, and I lost my cool. Who started it? Alex, are you serious? He stared at me, his gaze growing darker. Nancy, what do you take me for, just a tool for having kids? A tool? You're not even the one having the baby. I snapped back angrily. Even cheating guys know to come home and finish the job. You won't even let me touch you. Are you sure you're not the one with the problem? I don't have a problem. Okay, then let me touch you, just to check. Sure, Alex's face was right up my alley, but what if he's all looks and no substance? Then that pretty face is just a waste. I waved my hands at him, aiming for below the belt. Alex held me back, eyebrows furrowed in disbelief. Nancy, have you gone nuts? I admitted I was a bit crazy. After all these years, I'd never once heard of Alex having a girlfriend. In school, he was the aloof genius and the school heartthrob. Girls lined up for miles, but he was too proud for anyone. Now, he's the darling of the socialite circle, handsome, rich, and squeaky clean, with no tabloid drama. Thinking back, he's not just some cold-blooded top dog. Clearly, he's the one with the issue, just pretending to put up a front. No way. Tonight, I'm going to make a move on him, even if it means going full-on aggressive. But while I was distracted, he bolted to the spare bedroom. Pissed off, I lunged after him. He locked himself in the guest room. Nancy, calm down. Forced things aren't sweet. I couldn't calm down. Forced fruits might not be sweet, but at least they quench your thirst. I yelled in frustration at his door. If you have a problem, just say so. I'll book you an appointment with a specialist first thing tomorrow. Medical science is so advanced now, don't be in denial. He ignored me, and it infuriated me. On the third day, I upped my game. I specially prepared a dish of stir-fried kidneys, a plate of leeks with oysters, and a big pot of turtle soup. I refused to believe he's that useless. But the jerk didn't pick up his phone, and in the end, it was his assistant who called me back. Ma'am, the boss had to leave the country on short notice for work. Just letting you know, he's probably on the plane now. Great, he's avoiding me. Alex was gone for several days, and I felt like I was in a fake marriage. Not long after, my dad asked me to come home for dinner. That guy loves playing the happy family card, even knowing the stepfamily thing is just for show. Why didn't Alex come with you? My dad asked, seeing me alone. He went abroad for work, I explained. At the table, my stepsister, Lily, looked at me slyly. You probably don't know, do you, sis? Emily went abroad with Alex too. Check out her social media pics. Lily purposely scrolled through Emily's feed, showing me a selfie she took. In the background, you could see the side of Alex's face. I heard he splurged on a diamond necklace for Emily at an auction. Everyone in the circle knows Emily's been into Alex for years. His parents were all for their marriage. But then Emily's family business faced disaster, lost massively, and being profit-driven, Alex's folks chose my family instead for the alliance. Now just married, and you're already left cold like this? Guess you're not really his type. Lily mocked. My expression barely changed, and I smiled slightly. Yeah, I tend not to be the popular type. By the way, if you hadn't been caught with those small-time celebrities and got your engagement with Alex called off, this Mrs. title would have been yours. Nancy, you. Lily spluttered. Enough, weren't we supposed to never mention this again? My stepmom snapped, slamming her chopsticks down. All right, what's with all the noise? My dad grumbled, frowning. Nancy, stop bringing up your sister's mistake. He scolded, then turned to Lily. Lily, if it wasn't for your sister, how'd you fix the trouble you caused? Haven't you learned to behave? You nearly ruined the family's reputation. Lily remained silent after the reprimand, but I just shrugged with a smile. I texted Alex under the table, what's up with you and Emily? A few minutes later, he replied, we're not a thing. Huh, what does not a thing mean? A moment after, he added. I know her, but we're not close. Not close? Emily was his college classmate and chased him since then. If that's not close, then what are we, strangers? Frustrated, I snapped my phone shut. The meal finished with everyone lost in their own thoughts. In the end, my dad sighed and pulled me aside. Nancy, meet me in the study. I got up and followed him. How's married life with Alex? He asked. It's going well. He nodded, then asked, I heard you've been busy with the company's plaza project lately? Yep, today there's a business dinner. We'll be meeting with some promising firms to follow up. I replied. You've done well with what I've assigned you, and I'm assured, he started, praising me, then shifted tone, but having a child should be your priority. The marriage will stabilize with a kid, and both families will gain more benefits and resources. Don't lose sight of what's important. I understand, Dad, I replied softly. He managed a tender smile. Nancy, you've always been sensible. It's reassuring. Not like Lily and Ken, they're a bit spoiled. We're all family, so try to get along. I couldn't help but scoff inside. Family, huh? In this house, whoever treated me like family? I was born from my dad's fling with a small-time star before he got married. My birth mom wanted to marry up but left me when I was born a girl, taking a big payout. Within a year, my dad married someone from the same social standing and had new kids. They're hailed as the legitimate ones, while I'm just the neglected illegitimate child. My stepmom's family can't stand me, and my dad is always busy with business. He's pretty much ignored me my whole life. I was raised by a nanny, and she always told me my dad likes obedient and well-behaved kids. So, from a young age, I worked hard in school just to make him see that I'm his daughter and I'm not less than anyone else. Whenever Lily and Ken wanted something, they'd just pout and he'd agree. But I couldn't do that. I was too scared. He would only smile and praise me when I brought home a perfect score on a test. When Lily had an arranged marriage, my dad said I'm his daughter, so I needed to marry Alex for my sister. He said it was my turn and my good fortune. I didn't hesitate, I agreed. As an illegitimate kid, marrying someone like Alex seemed like hitting the jackpot to everyone. After the dinner, I left. At the party, after chatting with a few familiar business partners, I unexpectedly ran into my best friend Lucy. She quickly pulled me aside. Ah, my busy bee, how's everything going? Why haven't you filled us in on the details? She had this mischievous grin like she knew everything. It was just the thing I didn't want to talk about. I replied quietly, Alex is on a business trip. He's overseas. Wow, already doing long distance after just a few days of marriage? Lucy said, amazed. So you still haven't nabbed that high-profile guy? I can't hold on to him, how am I supposed to nab him? I hinted at her to keep it down. My friend suddenly remembered something. Hey, word is in the socialite circle that Emily is traveling with your Alex. He even bought her a necklace at an auction. Is there something going on with those two? I don't know, he said nothing's going on between them. As my friend turned to pour a drink, she pointed at someone not far away and shouted. Hey, Nancy, isn't that your husband? I couldn't help but look where she was pointing. It did look like someone who shared Alex's profile from the side. Lucy's voice was a bit loud, and the man turned his head slightly. Oh, I was wrong. But they look so alike, I thought it was your husband. In that moment, our eyes met, and we both froze. He approached first and said hello. Nancy, long time no see. I collected myself and smiled. Long time no see, Felix. My friend was shocked. You guys know each other? This is my best friend, Lucy. I introduced Lucy to Felix. He politely extended his hand. Hi, I'm Felix, Nancy's high school classmate. He paused for a moment and added with a smile, and a good friend too. Lucy suddenly realized, oh, you're Nancy's first boyfriend. Wow, Nancy, I remember your college boyfriend had a similar vibe. So you've been looking for someone like him all these years? She teased quietly in my ear. I shot her a warning look and awkwardly explained to Felix. It's getting late, we should head out. Felix still had a gentle smile. All right. As we were about to leave, he suddenly called my name. Nancy. I turned back, and he hesitated before asking. Would it be okay to give you a ride home? It's been ages, and I'd like to catch up. Before I could decide, Lucy answered for me, sure, that works. Then she whispered to me. He's your first love, girl. You gotta catch up. Plus, you're clearly not too happy with this fancy marriage. Might as well have some fun. Then she stylishly left me alone. I was a bit nervous as I got in the car with Felix. After I gave him my address, we had a moment of silence. I heard from an old classmate that you were abroad, I said. Yeah, I just recently got back, he replied. Oh. After another pause, he broke the silence. How have you been all these years? I've been good, I answered. Then added, I'm married now. He was quiet for a few seconds, then said softly, yeah, I heard, with Alex. I looked at Felix's profile and got lost for a second. The young man from my past was now mature, with a sophisticated air around him. But his slight smile still carried that youthful vibe from back then. Felix was my desk mate in our last year of high school. He was my only friend back then and also a guy I liked. At first, many girls wanted to be friends with me, and I got quite a few love notes from boys. But pretty soon, Lily spread rumors about me being an illegitimate child, even saying I was the child of a mistress, while she was the real deal. After that, everyone started avoiding and isolating me, looking at me with contempt. Only Felix treated me normally, never judging me based on gossip. He was handsome, gentle, didn't talk much, but his words were always comforting. We'd solve problems together, share interesting stories, and explore the streets behind school. These moments were the only memorable highlights of my youth. So it wasn't surprising I fell for a guy like him back then. But soon rumors spread about us secretly dating. The school called our parents, and my dad came to school for the first time and slapped me awake. Nancy, that boy's family is too poor. You shouldn't be with him, he said, not mentioning if puppy love was right or wrong, just that we couldn't have a future. That's when I realized I wouldn't get to choose who I marry. After that incident, Felix transferred out, and we never saw each other again. In college, whenever guys showed interest, I instinctively felt they had ulterior motives, whether for money or something else. I casually dated a few guys, treating it as a way to spice up life. But I never expected true love, knowing I could never possess it. Felix drove slowly, but eventually, we got to my place. As the holidays are closing in, there are quite a few flower vendors setting up shop along the nearby streets. While we stopped at a red light, a little girl suddenly tapped on the car window, asking if we wanted to buy flowers. Felix took $100 bill from his wallet and handed it over, then placed a bunch of white roses twinkling with little lights into my hands. I was a little surprised, and he explained. Supporting local businesses. Thanks, but... I held the flowers, feeling a bit at a loss. What? Afraid Alex will get mad? He teased. No, it's not that. He won't care. Honestly, we don't have any real feelings for each other. Plus, in a business marriage, it's quite common for each to do their own thing. I remember you really like roses. Happy early New Year, Felix said, smiling. Thanks. I didn't refuse again. I thanked him politely and got out of the car. Goodbye. I hadn't taken 2 steps when he suddenly called out to me, Nancy. I turned around and saw him leaning against the car, looking straight at me. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but was interrupted by a sarcastic laugh behind me. Well, isn't it Felix, back from abroad? Looking towards the voice, I saw Alex downstairs, glaring coldly at Felix. How about coming up for a visit? Felix just smiled and replied, no need. I was just catching up with Nancy after a long time apart. Oh. And how did the catching up go? Alex sneered. Very well, Felix continued to smile, adding, after all, youth is worth reminiscing about. Alex's eyes darkened, a smirk tugging at his lips as he said, well, go ahead and reminisce, while we are busy with planning a family. It's getting late, time for us to rest. Saying this, he pulled my wrist and walked towards home. He was gripping quite hard, and it hurt. I couldn't help but remind him. Alex, be gentle. He ignored me, his sudden anger puzzling me. Why are you back? Oh, did I interrupt your little rendezvous? He scoffed. We just bumped into each other by chance. I explained helplessly. Besides, I haven't even questioned you about running off abroad with another woman. I turned away, not wanting to deal with him. He opened the door with a cold face, his gaze briefly passing over the flowers in my hand, then snatching them and tossing them into the trash can by the door. What are you doing? I don't like the look of them. He dragged me inside, the door slamming shut with a heavy bang. I struggled to break free, and he pressed me against the door, kissing me. I was completely stunned. What are you doing? Out of breath, he replied, didn't you say you wanted a baby? I pushed him away nervously. Today isn't the right time, no. And all this time, you've just been saying no? He lifted me onto him by the waist. Losing my balance, I clung to him like a koala. Meeting the dangerous look in his eyes, a sudden unease washed over me. Alex, you can't force happiness. He let out a low laugh, whispering in my ear, you never know until you try. His hot breath on my ear made me panic. I struggled with all my might. Let me go. No. He replied, as stubborn as ever. You. He was too strong. Unable to break free, I bit his neck hard in frustration. He winced in pain, then surprisingly lifted his hand and gave me a smack on my butt. Behave. I was furious and embarrassed at once. You bastard. How dare you hit me? I'll report you for domestic violence. Kicking open the bedroom door, he tossed me onto the bed, throwing his phone my way. Go ahead, call and ask if smacking your butt counts as domestic violence. Face burning, I snapped, you're shameless. There's more shamelessness to come, his voice grew deeper, as he pinned me and tugged at his shirt buttons. I couldn't out-curse him, let alone out-fight him. Time passed, and I felt like I was on the brink of death. He finally stopped, wearing a victorious smirk, and whispered in my ear, "A forced watermelon can still be both sweet and thirst-quenching." I was fuming. The next day, he was gone, disappearing after sleeping with me. That made me even angrier. Dragging my sore body, I got up, cursing under my breath. My phone was ringing off the hook with missed calls from my assistant. It was almost 11 a.m. Damn man, ruining my morning. Yawning, I moved to the bathroom to freshen up. Seeing a shiny necklace with a massive blue diamond sparkling in the mirror, I was puzzled until Alex called. "Awake?" He sounded in good spirits. Clearing my hoarse throat, I replied. "Like the necklace?" He asked. Touching the gaudy piece, I couldn't help but think, diamonds sure are beautiful. But seeing the marks on my neck made my anger flare again. "I don't like it. I think it looks great." "That's because you have terrible taste," I scoffed. "Huh, not as terrible as yours," he retorted. "Me? Bad taste? Where?" I was fuming as I hung up, dragging my half-broken body to work. Stepping out, I noticed people busy in the backyard. "What's all this?" "Ma'am, the mister wants to fill the garden with roses," explained the lead worker. "Is he nuts? Planting roses in the winter?" "He mentioned building a greenhouse," they replied. Unbelievable. Busy with work all day, I later visited my best friend. She noticed the necklace on my neck and teased. "Whoa, isn't this the necklace from that auction a few days ago? Seems the big boss bought it for his wife." Then spotting the marks on my neck, she pointed, "Nancy, what's this? Did you guys do the deed?" I nodded sheepishly. "Damn, you guys are moving fast. Weren't you just playing hard to get recently?" That got me riled up again. I fumed. I always thought he wasn't up for it, but last night I found out. Found out what? That he's too much. I almost died from exhaustion. Spill the details. I ended up ranting to her about the previous night's events. She laughed so hard she almost fell over. Jealous men are quite entertaining. Felix and I have nothing going on. Why is he even jealous? I'm completely speechless. My bestie slapped her thigh. "Girl, you think Alex secretly likes you? Didn't you both go to school together?" "No way, we barely said 2 words to each other." I immediately deny it. We were in the same class back then, but even though Alex was smart, he was so arrogant, all stuck up like his eyes were fixed upwards. Plus, he was always top of the class, and I was second, so yeah, I felt like giving him the boot. The only time we crossed paths, I mistook him for Felix. He and Felix kinda look alike, but their personalities are night and day. I dig Felix's gentle warm guy vibe. Alex is all aloof and cold, not my thing, unless you got a love-struck brain. Yesterday's meltdown, probably just some macho territorial thing. I don't know, I've been around enough to bet Alex is into you. My bestie waved her finger like she was diagnosing the situation. If he likes me, then why can't I touch him on the wedding day? Playing dumb. What a sneaky guy. I'm crashing here tonight. I flopped onto the couch, planning to freeload at my bestie's place. Don't say that, girl. I'm counting on you for twins in 3 years. And hey, you drool over his type anyway. Isn't he just a leveled up version of your ideal guy? Go enjoy your happily ever after. No way, nope. Sure, I find Alex's looks appealing, but imagining him going crazy like yesterday till way past midnight? Yeah, not so much. Hadn't been long when Alex calls. "Why aren't you home yet?" "I'm crashing at a friend's tonight." "What friend? Guy or girl?" "Girl." "You don't know her?" "Lucy?" Yeah. How'd he know?" "Grandpa wants us over for dinner tomorrow." "I'll pick you up." "All right. By the way, we haven't had time to visit the old family home since tying the knot. Everyone there is laid back, and I have the pretend to be obedient act down pat. Every gathering is pretty chill. Naturally, we couldn't escape the baby talk at the table. Especially Grandpa, who so eagerly wishes for 4 generations under one roof. Nancy, dear, this old man doesn't have much time left, and I'm dreaming of holding my great-grandkid. All my estate will be yours, leaving nothing to this rascal. Grandpa shot a look at Alex. I just smiled and went along with it. Alex frowned and said, "We're not in a rush, less pressure, please." Grandpa slammed his cane down, infuriated. "You're not in a hurry, but I am." Alex calmly replied. "You can be, but there's nothing you can do about it now, can you? You cheeky brat, when will you let me hold my great-grandkid? You annoy me." Grandpa smacked him with the cane. "I assure you, before you go 6 feet under. With your strength, I'd say you'll live to 100. You piece of work. You'll be the death of me." Grandpa grumbled again. Make sure the child doesn't inherit his awful nature. So, yeah, Grandpa's pretty heated, Alex is chill, and I'm just here watching the show. After everyone was full and drunk, we hit the road. Barely in the car, and I felt a rush in my stomach. There was a bit of discomfort during dinner, and yep, here comes Aunt Flo. I shot Alex a glare. Geez, useless. Stop by a superstore. I clutched my stomach. What are you buying? He asked. Pads. He smoothly parked the car at the curb. Wait here. Soon enough, he came back with a big shopping bag loaded with all sorts of pads. Along with it was a clear pharmacy bag, containing some cramps relief powder and, surprisingly, 2 boxes of condoms. You. Why did you buy those? Gonna use them. Don't you like kids? I asked. Do you? He actually turned the question back at me. Truth is, family and kids are vague concepts to me. My upbringing lacked a lot of love and presence. For me, marriage and kids aren't desires. They're just a to-do. I was too tired to argue, pain's a bitch. Once home, he made me some cramps relief tea, and after drinking it, I curled into bed. Alex didn't sleep in the guest room after that. For days, he's been right beside me. He hardly talks but stubbornly keeps me wrapped up in his arms each night. I'm a light sleeper, and I'd feel him adjust my blanket at night or plant gentle kisses on my forehead in the morning. My bestie's wild guess that Alex might secretly like me popped back into my mind. Hey, think he secretly likes me? Caught him sneaking kisses. I snitched to my bestie, and she grew more determined in her stance. Then one morning, as he sneaked in for a kiss, I opened my eyes. Alex, do you secretly like me? He froze, coughed awkwardly and said. Nope. Then why sneak kisses? You're my wife. I'll kiss if I want. Great, I had no comeback for that. My bestie chimed in. Wow, stubborn alpha vibes. Stay strong, girl. Peel off that mask. I'll come back stronger. After Aunt Flo finished her visit, we were invited to a charity auction. We were meant to play the loving couple role there. It was our first joint appearance in the media spotlight. Considering the chatter around our family's alliance, especially since I'm not some legit heiress, people weren't expecting much. In front of all those cameras, I put on a gracious smile and hooked my arm with Alex's. Reporters clamored for interviews. He simply nodded respectfully and declined. Sorry, just here to help my wife pick something nice today. Interview some other time. Before the auction kicked off, many attendees were networking, and we had quite the crowd around us. Alex was smooth in such settings, while I, maintaining my polite smile, felt it slowly freezing. Claimed a washroom excuse for a breather. Unexpectedly bumped into Alex's rumored fling, Emily, in the hallway. I was just planning on a cordial nod and moving along. I didn't expect her to stop me, with a small smile on her face. Nancy, I didn't get a chance to congratulate you and Alex on your wedding. We've been friends for many years. I smiled but felt a bit awkward. Thanks, but a few days ago my husband mentioned he's not really familiar with Emily. She smirked. Oh, Alex must be joking. You know he was supposed to marry me. If it weren't for my family's business issues, it wouldn't have been your turn. Emily's face remained unchanged, with a scornful smile. Besides, I've known him for years. He won't like someone like you. I found it amusing. He doesn't like me? Then you'd better hurry and steal him. If he cheats during our marriage, I'd get a bigger payout. Nancy, Emily was taken aback. I shrugged it off. Don't act so disgracefully. Keep some dignity for your family. You think those vague photos in your social media would make me divorce? Our marriage isn't that simple. At most, you just disgust me. Her plan exposed, Emily looked angry but managed to retort. Nancy, you're just an illegitimate child, while I'm the only daughter whose mother is of royal descent. Royal descent? She's got problems, I thought. I couldn't help but laugh. Emily often pretended to be some rich heiress, boasting about her high status. Didn't they get the memo when the Qing dynasty fell? Even the last emperor calls himself a citizen now, and you still think you're nobility? Emily couldn't argue back. She held her anger, insisting clearly. For years, Alex hasn't been in a relationship because he has someone he's deeply fond of. I casually brushed my hair. So what? What does it have to do with me or you? While my mood was all right, meeting someone like this turned it sour quickly. I checked the time. The auction was about to start, so I hurried back to the venue and sat next to Alex. The host was explaining each auction item. Alex tilted his head a bit, asking quietly. Which one do you like? You choose this time. I flipped through the auction catalog, giving him a sarcastic look. I like them all. He said nothing, but as the auction began, he kept raising bids. Surprisingly, Felix was also competing. Both seemed competitive, escalating prices dramatically. I stopped Alex amid an escalating bid. The price is nearly twice the original. Are you crazy? He lazily lifted his eyelids. Too much money to burn. Impressive. It's a miracle you haven't bankrupted the family yet. In the end, Alex earned the title of top spender, with everyone marveling at his extravagance. Sighing, I counted the things he bought, bewildered by all the rocks. Glancing up, he seemed to talk to Felix briefly before Felix left. Many media and business partners surrounded him, and I didn't think much of it. Minutes later, a server handed me a wallet. Ma'am, is this your husband's wallet? We saw your marriage photo inside. Opening it up, I indeed found a red background marriage registration photo of us. Oh, thank you. I'll hand it to him later. I grew curious about Alex keeping our photo in his wallet. Taking it out, I blankly stared at the picture, where I stood emotionless, yet Alex seemed to have a subtle smile. I recalled the day we registered our marriage, squeezed between a busy project signing. I'd taken an hour off to register. The photographer kept asking us to get closer and smile pleasantly. Like a task, I finished the process fast, not even taking my copy of the certificate. Putting the photo back, I found another in the wallet, a small-sized picture. It turned out to be me, from an 18-year-old ID photo for some competition. How did Alex get this? Alex, oh Alex, what other secrets are you hiding? My phone buzzed, snapping me from my thoughts. The voice on the call was unfamiliar, though anxious. Hello, this car owner was just in an accident and is unconscious. You're the first contact. Do you know him? His name on the license is Felix. I felt a sudden worry. I know him. Is he all right? Not sure, he's unconscious. The ambulance will arrive soon. If you can, please come. Given directions just a mile from the auction, I quickly directed a server to deliver Alex's things and rushed to the scene. When I got there, Felix was still out cold, but except for some head injuries, seemed okay. Once an ambulance came, he was taken to the hospital quickly. The doctor said it was a concussion from the impact, not life-threatening, but we needed him to wake up. I stayed beside the bed for a while until he softly called my name. Nancy. Finally, he was awake. I exhaled in relief. How could you drive so carelessly? Sorry, lost focus. Sorry for causing trouble. He showed an apologetic smile. No trouble. I'm glad you're fine. I turned and said, call your family or friends, the doctor said you need to stay for observation with a concussion. No need, my mom's old. Let's not scare her. He explained calmly. What about friends or a girlfriend? I couldn't help asking. He chuckled resignedly, it's just been you all these years. I can manage alone. You should go back if busy. My phone filled with missed calls, buzzing insistently, left me indecisive. I'll step out for a quick call. I was just about to step away when Felix suddenly whispered to me. Nancy, I'm sorry. I turned to look at him, feeling a bit puzzled. Why are you apologizing to me? In senior year, I took money from your dad and transferred to a school abroad. What? I was stunned. I come from a single-parent family. I grew up with my mom by my side. Our relationship got reported to the school, and your dad found out where my mom worked. He threatened me, saying I was too poor for you. Then he offered me money to leave you for good. I'm sorry, I didn't know any of that. Felix had suddenly disappeared from school back then, leaving without a trace. No goodbye, and nobody knew where he went. I've regretted letting go all these years. But back then, I was nothing. What could I have offered you? I've been working hard ever since, trying to close the gap between us. You have no idea how devastated I was hearing about your wedding. Nancy, I can't let it go. I stood there quietly for a while before softly speaking. Felix, we can't be together. Why not? You said you don't like Alex. I can wait for you to get a divorce. Felix looked at me, sadness clouding his eyes. Maybe we're past the age of chasing love recklessly. I know your life is complicated. I'm willing to give you everything, maybe not as wealthy as Alex's family, but at least I'd give you a carefree life to do whatever you want. Nancy, we're not young anymore. I don't want to lose this chance. Felix, I'm sorry, I feel ashamed. I took a deep breath and spoke slowly. I admit I liked you, but it was just that, liking. I wasn't hung up on it, so for these past years, your experiences and feelings, they make me really ashamed. After that incident, I understood that love is something I shouldn't expect. I sometimes think of you, but only in passing. Since college, I've been learning business, negotiation, laws, so I could stand my ground at home and earn my dad's respect. Affairs of the heart are useless to me because my marriage is about benefiting. I'm not the faithful type either. In school, I dated some guys, gentle and considerate like you were, just for emotional support. Felix, my marriage to Alex is a business deal, involving far too much. We're almost certainly staying together, even if we're each doing our own thing. And I wouldn't choose you. Being the other person disrespects you. Felix stayed quiet for a long time and then asked me one question. Nancy, I don't believe you feel nothing for me. The feeling of having a crush at 17 or 18 is nice. I admit, I really liked you then. But Felix, it seems I always liked the 18-year-old you. I'm someone who never looks back. You're amazing, but unfortunately, I can't accept that. What about Alex? He couldn't help but ask. Honestly, I'm not sure about him. With all these emotions and confusion, I hurried home. Someone was there, clearly upset, holding back anger. Nancy, do you know how many times I called you today? Felix was in a car accident. He interrupted with a cold laugh. Oh, really? Did he die? I was shocked by his words. How can you say that? He was in a coma and had no one with him. Really? So you took him to the hospital and fixed him up? Are you a doctor, or a cop? Alex questioned me sharply. Do you think he couldn't survive without you? No, Things were urgent at the time. What's wrong with me going? I defended myself helplessly, then asked him. Why do you react so strongly when it involves Felix? Alex, are you jealous? He gave a light mocking laugh. I'm not. Yeah, right. I think you are. You secretly like me but won't admit it, loving me desperately. You're imagining things. Fine, won't admit it, huh? Time for my last resort. If you don't like me, then let's get a divorce. What did you say? His eyes shifted, staring icily at me. I said divorce. Felix proposed to me. He never let go all these years. I don't want to let him down. Before finishing, Alex suddenly shouted. Don't even think about it. Nancy, are you stupid? I was startled by his outburst and got really angry. You. Why are you yelling? I was really pissed, just trying to rile him up. But Alex's sudden temper lit my own anger. I want a divorce. I have feelings for Felix. He was my first love, my one true love. Divorce. 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 Fine, divorce, right? He bent down and threw me over his shoulder. Let me go. I struggled, biting and scratching him in anger. He stayed silent, enduring the pain. I can't believe how I'm always good at hiding emotions, staying composed. But every time he pokes me, I can't hold it in. Tonight's the night to confront Alex. He kicked open the door, tossing me onto the bed. I still fought him, attacking with words. Felix said he'd give me everything, and I'm overwhelmed. Hurry up, divorce me so I can find someone else. Alex's eyes seemed to blaze. Shut up. He raised his hands as if to grab my neck, then leaned in to kiss me. Somehow, my clothes were gone after that. 2 hours later. Alex, you jerk. This time, I'm really divorcing you. He rolled over, leaned in close. Oh, got the energy to curse me out, huh? Bring it on. The next day, I woke up still fuming. Wrapped in a blanket, silently stewing. My best friend called. Girl, found a great spot to eat. Let's hang out. I replied weakly, nope, gonna die. A few minutes later, her laughter echoed. Wow, you guys fought but went at it twice, huh? I stared at the ceiling, replaying everything. How did a fight end up in bed? Alex isn't human, just a freak, an animal. I swore not to speak or see him today, whatever he says. If I do, I'm a fool. 3 minutes later, my dad called. Didn't I tell you to bring Alex over today? What time is it? Where are you? I sat up, startled. My dad's meeting Alex today to discuss the second phase of the group's financing. He reminded me over and over to bring him home, and I completely forgot. Sighing, I got out of bed. Alex was already ready, buttoning up his shirt in the living room. Can you come back home with me today? I slowly walked to him, asking in a subdued voice. He glanced at his watch, reminding me. We're already late, hurry up. Oh. I got myself ready and realized when we left that he had scratches on his neck and jaw. In the heat of the moment, I wasn't careful last night. No hiding it, he looked at me. A cat, huh? I snapped back, serves you right. When we got home, my dad noticed the scratches and couldn't help but ask. Alex, what happened here? Got scratched up? Alex replied politely with a smile, nothing much, Dad, just a cat. Oh dear, that cat's got a temper, my dad mused. Alex glanced at my hand grabbing some food, jokingly saying. No worries, next time we'll clip her nails, she'll be tame. Jerk, still being sarcastic. Then my dad and he discussed the project financing, which would be a huge boost if pursued. I listened intently from the side. Soon, Auntie Zhang, the housekeeper, quietly approached me. Nancy, the kitchen made those little cakes you love, go try them. I was shocked, as she had been with us since I was a child and usually knew the boundaries. Typically, she wouldn't interrupt like this. I followed her to the kitchen. She looked around and gently closed the door. Nancy, I heard about your dad's will recently. Seems most of it's going to Lily and Ken. As someone who watched you grow up, I know what you've been through. Don't let what you worked for go to someone else. Your dad, he is leaning toward that family. While my dad and Alex were engrossed in their conversation, I quietly slipped into his study. He always kept important documents in his safe, and as someone who's observant, I knew the combination long ago. I tried, and the lock clicked open. At the bottom of the safe was a will. Black and white, the division of assets laid out. I never expected him to treat us equally, hoped for nothing grand. But upon seeing it, I couldn't help but laugh. The company I've managed since graduation, flourishing year over year, he always praised me for doing well. Yet, he left my hard work to Ken. Moreover, almost everything else was left to my stepmother's family. All I got was a branch company founded just last year. How absurd, all these years striving to please him, this is my reward. I walked out of the study, found him. Dad, I need to ask you something. He seemed displeased. Can't it wait? Can't you see I'm talking to Alex? I replied flatly, no. Shocked by my defiance, how dare you? Alex jumped in. Dad, let's discuss later, maybe Nancy's matter is more pressing. Reluctantly, my dad followed me into the study. I threw the will in front of him. He knew immediately. Nancy, who gave you the nerve to open my safe? He demanded loudly. Yes, who indeed? If I hadn't seen it today, I'd still be working myself to the bone for you. Everything I worked for, you left to your useless son. The will is just for now, it can change. Your stepmother's already making noise about you marrying Alex, and this is just a temporary fix. A temporary fix, huh? How much do you plan to leave me then? I scoffed, questioning him. Nancy, what's that tone? I'm not dead yet, and now you're being reckless because of your good marriage? Enraged, he shouted. What I left isn't much, but your marriage is the real guarantee, and Alex would never let you down. I found it laughable, stared directly. Really, you only used me to cover for Lily because you feared offending Alex's family. Am I your daughter? Have you ever loved me? You know how my stepmother's family dislikes me, yet you always pretend not to see. You love obedient kids, so I listened to you. Art was useless, you said, so I dropped it. Marriage should match status, you said, so I stopped looking for love. Finance was useful for you, you said, so I changed my college major. With every past injustice laid bare, he felt his dignity slipping, furiously slammed the table. What, are you mad at Dad now? Nancy, don't forget, I'm the reason you grew up in comfort. If I hadn't kept you back then, where do you think you'd be now? I shook my head and gave a faint smile. Yeah, I probably should thank you, dear Dad, for not abandoning me, but I don't get it. Why have me if you didn't love me? You brought me into this world, so why couldn't you love me properly? I didn't have a mom, so I tried so hard to get your attention, hoping you'd give me just a bit of affection. And you? Did you ever come to any of my parent-teacher meetings? Did you spend any real time with me? You just nodded at my report cards and handed me cash. Every parent meeting, my aunt went instead. I always lied to my classmates, saying she was my mom. Do you know what people said about me at school? They called me an illegitimate child, a fake rich girl. Finally, I couldn't hold it in any longer, and I shouted, asking him. Where did I go wrong? What did I ever do wrong? He stayed silent, and I let out a bitter laugh, walking out the door. I tried hard to pull myself together, avoid looking pathetic. Alex, let's go. He stood up and hugged me, patting my back. Okay, just wait for me in the car for a few minutes. It wasn't long before he got back in the car. Home? He asked. Alex, can you take me to the amusement park nearby? Sure. At night, the amusement park was all lit up. I walked slowly, listening to laughter fill the air. Want to go on any rides? Alex leaned down and whispered in my ear. I shook my head. No one knew this was my first time at an amusement park in over 20 years. All those years, I just glanced from afar whenever we passed by. My childhood dream was for Dad to take me to an amusement park, but he was always too busy. I heard countless stories of pirate ships, roller coasters, and how beautiful the fireworks were over the castle at night. Finally, he had time and got plane tickets for the whole family to Disneyland, but my stepmom and siblings didn't want to bring me. He gave me a card to buy myself something nice and said we'd go another time. I nodded, and he praised me for being so understanding. I looked at their family pictures, him carrying Lily and Ken, all smiles. I waited and waited for my turn, which never came. Every time I passed the amusement park, I'd look longingly, telling myself I'd go on my own when I grew up. But by then, that desire was long gone. I realized even if I tried to make up for everything I missed as a child, it wasn't the same. The amusement park was beautiful and lively, but I wasn't the same person anymore. I swallowed my emotions and prepared to leave. Then, a child's voice caught my attention. Dad, I can't see, she said. A little girl, wearing sparkly bunny ears, jumped up and down near a crowd watching performers. Her dad laughed and crouched down. All right, climb on, he said, letting her onto his back. She was thrilled. Watching them, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I crouched to the ground, sobbing. Nancy, Alex said. I covered my eyes, trembling. Alex, turn away, please. Just let me cry alone for a bit. I always thought tears were worthless, a sign of weakness. No matter how much I endured, I never cried, until now. Maybe it was pent-up emotions bursting out. I cried for what felt like forever, until someone held me. Alex gently rubbed my back, whispering, "It's okay, no more tears." I leaned against him, gasping for breath. My dad never lifted me like that. They say dads are like rocks, strong and dependable. I never got to feel that. Alex crouched and gestured for me to hop on. Come on. I hesitated, but he picked me up anyway. His back was broad and sturdy. Fireworks painted the night sky. Alex, you must have had everything handed to you, right? Like Lily and Ken who get away with anything with a pout. But not me, I had to be perfect, like a puppet on strings. Alex walked steadily, a raspy touch to his voice. Whatever you want, I'll give you. We don't need anything from him. I shook my head. No, I don't want anything anymore. I'm done. I don't want marriage or kids, Alex. Let's get a divorce, I'm tired. He paused mid-stride, voice taut. Nancy, what I really want has always eluded me. Please, let's not divorce. Anything but that, and I'll agree to whatever you want. And under the bursting fireworks, we talked about so much. Alex always saw her differently, even before he knew he liked her. She called him Felix back then, smiling that unforgettable way. He was just an unnoticed shadow in her life, albeit one that cherished her from afar. His eyes followed her always, even when she never looked back. Their closest encounter was sharing a spot on the honor roll. One particularly bold move, he secretly tore her photo off the sign-up sheet. Nancy's obliviousness hurt, even when it was obvious to Felix. You like Nancy, don't you? Felix once asked. Alex didn't deny it. Of course, I like Nancy. But, she's not into guys like you. Felix even made a point to ask Nancy, loudly enough for him to hear. People say Alex and I look alike, a lot of girls are after him. Don't you like him? Nancy frowned. No, I don't like Alex. He didn't understand why, despite looking like Felix and having better grades and background, she wasn't interested in him. Back then, Felix had a smug look and said to him, "It's tough being the third wheel, isn't it?" Yeah, it sucked. So, he reported their relationship to the school. Felix left, and she was alone, no longer smiling. Unsettled, he applied to the same college as her. She was brilliant and motivated but still never noticed him. She got a new boyfriend, the Felix type again. Maybe she never really let Felix go. She had her love, he couldn't let go either. He kept telling himself to give it up. Alex, why bother? Every new year, he'd make the same wish. Nancy, this year, I won't like you anymore. But those feelings were like winter wildfires, hard to put out. He'd try convincing himself, she's not all that, I'm not that into her. He focused on his career. When they met at work events, it was just a nodding acquaintance. See, Nancy, I'm totally over you. Eventually, his family started pushing for an arranged marriage. Emily liked you since school, and her family has approached us a few times. Why not her? He declined, let's wait a few years. After her family's business ran into trouble, he suggested, let's skip their family for the engagement. The elders agreed, relieved he finally thought about his future. They mentioned Lily as a good option. He laughed internally, yeah, sure, wasn't she the one who bullied Nancy? Soon, Lily's scandal surfaced, and the elders quickly dropped the idea of an alliance. He casually remarked, isn't there another daughter? But she's the illegitimate one, they reminded him. He shot back, if I'm marrying, it's her or no one. Only then did they realize he had been planning this all along. And so, they got married. He knew she wasn't in love with him. To her, marrying and having a child were just tasks. On their wedding night, he resisted touching her, but she surprisingly tried harder to provoke him. He kept reminding himself not to give in. Who knows, she might pull something like keeping the child but not him. Soon, her old flame returned home. Jealousy really changed him. He lost control, obsessed with keeping her, even tied her down if he had to. He had claimed his moon, her light was his alone. When Nancy asked if he secretly liked her, he played it cool, denying it. Admitting his years-long crush was unthinkable. She'd definitely mock him. Like Felix said, Alex, even if she marries you, she won't like you. Now, he stepped into the light. It didn't matter if she loved him or not, she was his. He sneered, think you can take her from me? Good luck. He could now throw Felix's own words back at him. You see, being the third wheel isn't easy, is it? Felix had been just as crazy. When he heard Nancy got married, saw the marks on her neck, he lost it. So, he planned a car accident. Alex was furious. She was naive, thinking Felix was innocent, letting him fool her. Divorce? Not in this lifetime. She could keep Felix as her fling if she wanted. Nancy asked if he was jealous. He'd never admit it. But seeing her cry finally broke him. He frantically called his married friend, seeking advice on how to cheer up his wife. His friend advised, man, your pride will make her leave. Girls love hearing, I love you, more than diamonds. That day, he dropped all pretenses. Nancy, I've liked you for years. You were right, I've always secretly adored you, insanely so. She began to cry, then suddenly laughed. Alex, what did you say? Say it again. I want to hear it. I said, Nancy, you're not a child without love. Someone has silently loved you from afar for years. You don't need to rely on your dad or a child, I'll always be your strength. That night he said all the cheesy lines he'd once dismissed. His aloof image shattered completely. She asked him what he said to her father. He simply walked in and told him. I call you dad because you're Nancy's father, but you don't treat her like a daughter. So maybe we should end all relations. If you don't care for her, I will. While I'm alive, Nancy can be herself. That evening, under the brilliant fireworks at the theme park, he carried her on his back. Nancy sniffled and asked, Alex, am I heavy? Yeah, he sighed, the whole world is on you, how could you not be? He gazed at the sparkling sky and whispered. Nancy, the love you missed, I'll make up for it, every bit of it. 11 Nancy is actually pretty oblivious when it comes to feelings. It took her forever to realize that Alex had been secretly crushing on her for years. So, one day, someone got a little jealous again. The boyfriend you had in college seemed a lot like someone we know. Are you always looking for a replacement? Nancy burst out laughing. How did he even come up with that? I just prefer that type of guy, she said. Alex, have you been reading too many romantic novels about stand-ins? Alex, with a sulky expression, questioned again, don't you think I look like that guy? Nancy shrugged, well, maybe you guys look a bit alike, but everything else is totally different. Felix was the gentle, considerate, and reserved type. You're the cold, arrogant one with a bad temper. What? Alex's face got a shade darker. Nancy quickly tried to smooth things over. Hee, I meant to say my husband is so much better. You two aren't alike at all. Alex snorted, then why didn't you like me back then? Nancy, exasperated, replied, you always ranked first in everything. I was always second to you. Who wants to be second all the time? I wanted to be on top too, you know. Alex let out a low chuckle and scooped her up onto his lap. Why don't we change that? You can be on top today.